Plan of Action has arrived. Hey everybody, welcome to the 90-day Plan of Action. We're going to answer the question, where to expat, how to expat, how long to go, when to go, how far in advance to go online, when to book your ticket. And we're going to answer the most important questions. Are you the explorer, are you the lover, or are you the passport bro? Know who you are, know what type of plan works for you. Stick around, a full detailed budget will follow. No more procrastination. It's time for an awakening. Let's take action. Imagine the boundless horizons life might unveil and the remarkable heights we could scale if we liberated ourselves. Thailand versus Philippines, or maybe Malaysia. What type of woman are you looking to meet? Is it a low-maintenance girlfriend that you're looking for? How can you determine if she's a low-maintenance girlfriend? How can you determine if you're being scammed?
I have something to open up with you guys. I deceived a foreigner.
Lied to. Does she have 4 other boyfriends that she's talking to? Can you investigate? Can you trust but verify? When should you initiate action? How much money are you going to have to budget? What will it cost you to take this exploratory trip? You know, people don't usually take unnecessary risks. They want to do some due diligence before they make an investment of time, energy. Let's explore some ways to do that. I've traveled to 57 countries in the last 5 years. I've booked all my own travel, all my own excursions. I kind of think I'm better than average at it, and I want to share with you my thoughts on where to go, what to do in advance, how to plan it, when to plan it, how far in advance to buy your ticket, what type of trip overall you should look to make, and specifically what it will cost and how much you should budget. I've traveled recently to most of the destinations that I reference in the plan. Use this plan as a framework, but most importantly, know yourself, be true to yourself, and use the parts of this plan that can assist the type of expat you want to be. Now, let's talk about the 3 distinct types of expats that are found in this plan and try and identify which one you are. So let's do some self-reflection. Let's answer these questions. Part 1 is for the explorer. He knows who he is. He is going to see the sights, do the excursions, and no individual woman is going to deviate his plan. He's going to see the things that he wants to see. It's a vacation, and he'll do a little dating. He might expat after the trip, but he's going to do an exploration, and that's going to drive his thinking, not a particular woman in a particular city. The people who've expatted many years and give lots of good advice, the preferred and best practice. Don't let one particular woman drive your plan. Don't let one country be the only one you investigate. Those who've come before us, those who really have the most experience, they recommend you date more than one woman. They recommend you check out more than one location in your target country. They recommend you check out more than one country. The romantic. This is the expat who's looking for the next great love in his life. He's motivated by true love. He's interested in meeting a long-term girlfriend, a fiance, or even a wife. And he's going to start over. He's willing to relocate or bring that woman back to his home country. That is his goal. So when he launches the plan, he needs to have that goal in mind. Next, we turn our attention to the passport bro, formerly known as a sexpat. You're not shy about it. You know what you want, and you know how to get it. The first goal is to meet local women, dating or paying the freight. A passport bro is primarily interested in a good time. It's a rolling party from one town to the next with different women along the way. Now, he might get lucky and meet the love of his life. He's not totally out to lie and deceive women. He organizes his journey assuming that he's not going to meet that special someone, and he's not willing to get tied down. He might fib a little, mislead a little. He's going to show up and meet some women he's met online. He's going to choose which cities to go to and what order to go to them based on the women he's already met or the opportunities for women that he's interested in. So the 90-day plan is a combination. It's a hybrid. It's part online and part in person. Why 90 days? Well, the perfect plan is going to be 45 days in country, maybe 60, with 45 or 30 days in advance online. And then arriving in country with your online tools in place and working so that you can be online while your boots on the ground. 4.5 months before you leave, 180 days into the beginning of the plan, you need to consider taking the following action. Get a gym membership. Start to think about the fact that you're going to be on the market. You might want to look your best. You might want to feel your best. You might want to get your health. You get a health tune-up. You're going to be on a long journey, and you're going to be meeting some younger women, and you might want to make sure that you've got that enthusiasm and stamina ready to go. Think about the financial requirements for the trip. Do you have a second debit card? Do you have an international debit card like a Schwab card that will refund your ATM fees 3 times a month? Make sure you have financial access to money in place and ready to go. Go ahead and get a Google Voice number, because when you're overseas, a lot of your 2-step verification will not work. Register at a website called Going. It used to be called Scott's Airfare Alert. And the prices have come down as low as $900, and reasonably, I think you can find a fare for around $1,200 round trip from the West Coast. Log onto Google Flights and put in a price alert. You're going to want to purchase your international airfare 90 to 120 days before travel, and domestic travel 45 days before you need that domestic flight. If you book 60 days ahead of time, these flights around the Philippines, you should be able to travel for $50 nonstop one way, $100 maybe with a connection. But if you wait and you have to book it 3 weeks or 2 weeks beforehand, you might pay double that. Start to think about getting your photos organized. You want not only 5 good photos for your profile on your dating app, but some other photos that you will gradually share with the women that you meet. What we want to do is we want to get a good headshot, whatever it takes. But think about the fact 180 days out, you're going to need a good photo, and you want some photos that are showing your social status. You want to be, out whitewater rafting with the guys. You want to be playing softball with your buddy. You don't want to show your wealth. You don't want a picture of you in your fancy car or anything expensive. You don't want to send the wrong message. That's not a good look. Start thinking about having the right travel luggage for a 45 or 60-day trip where you're moving around a lot. I like a carry-on bag. I also like a crossbody bag. 7 to 10 liter crossbody bag works really well. And start thinking about having a yard sale and decluttering your house, because this is an exploration visit. So you're either going to need to get rid of your personal possessions, declutter your house, and possibly put your house up for sale or rental. Now, if you do meet the love of your life, you don't want to go back for 3 months or 4 months or 5 months to accomplish those goals. If you decide to pull the trigger, you need to go back home, sell your car, put your house up for sale or lease your house, and get back here within a month. It's 120 days. You need to think about purchasing your international airfare in the next 15 days. So think about where you're going to fly into. Now, personally, I like flying into Manila. People hate Manila. They say the traffic's horrible, but you can land in Terminal 3, walk right across the Sky Bridge, stay in the Belmont or the Savoy. They're nothing special. They're going to be about $100 a night, but you could just walk down Newport Boulevard and get a $50 condo. They're on Booking. They're on hotels.com. They get listed like hotel rooms. You don't want to meet anybody immediately. You're an older man. You've been in an airplane for 20 hours. Walk across the Sky Bridge with your luggage. Go downstairs, get the hotel, go down the block, get the condo for the night, meet the girl the next day. When I met Chrissy, we spent 3 nights at a really nice condo in Makati. It was $125 a night, drop dead gorgeous. I stayed the first night in Newport Boulevard in one of those condos for $50. It was great. And we had a spectacular 3 days in Manila, but really in Makati. You're not in Manila. It's so close to the airport. It's so lush, nice malls, great restaurants. It's a good way to start if you found somebody special. But you want to sort of have a plan that you might stick to. And the way I say it is, if you don't meet anybody, if the first 30 days online you end up with a scammer, you end up with a liar, you end up with somebody who's duplicitous, who ends up having another boyfriend she's more interested in, she ghosts you. Well, now you have a plan, and you can stick to your plan, and you can search for women in those cities. So if you plan to go to Dumaguete for 5 nights, you can use the filters on the dating app and search for women within 50 miles of Dumaguete, 50 miles of Cebu, 50 miles of Manila, 50 miles of Baguio up in the mountains. So have a plan, try and meet some women in those cities initially, but all plans fail when they meet the enemy. So just in general, try to have a plan. Purchase your airfare, get your immunizations if you need them. Maybe you want a hepatitis shot, whatever it is, start to think about those doctors. Now also, Prepare your digital online presence. Go through your Facebook page and get rid of the stuff that doesn't put you in a good light. Maybe you've got old girlfriends as friends. You might want to think about now is a good time to remove them from your friends list, or you might want to make your friends list private. Go into your profile on WhatsApp. Look at the photo that's being used. 5 years ago, it didn't really matter, but now it matters. You'll be communicating on Messenger. Look at the photo that's being used in the profile of your Messenger account. So make sure your Facebook is ready to be shared. Make sure you're ready to be transparent. Google your name, see what comes up. Maybe there's some mistake there you need to address. Put a little work in ahead of time. If you're going to Thailand, you might want to learn a little bit of the language. I recommend now is a good time, 115 days. Start to learn 25 phrases. Learn how to say Swadhi Krup. Learn how to say where's the bathroom. Now it's also a good time to purchase new gear. You need some noise canceling headphones. You need an iPad. Maybe you don't want to travel with your laptop, or you need a new laptop. Buy that stuff back home. Do not come to the Philippines and think you're just going to buy it here. You'll pay 50% more. Make sure it's all working and you're good to go. Do some research on dating scams, how to investigate on Facebook.
We're going to teach level 2 Facebook bullshit detective skills.
How to figure out if you're being lied to. Never send money. A general rule of thumb, don't send somebody money you haven't met. They may be engaged, they may be juggling 2 or 3 men. And the first one that gets to the Philippines or to Thailand is the one that is the lucky one. And if you're not going to get there soon enough, which is why we don't want you to go online months and months and months ahead of time. If you have the time to go for 60 days, go online 30 to 45 days ahead of time. So before you go online, make a list, a deal breaker list, a need to have list, and a nice to have list. So for example, cigarette smoker, deal breaker. 3 children under the age of 3, deal breaker. What if she's 21 years old? Is that a deal breaker? Will your children spit you out like a fur ball if that's where you end up? Make yourself a deal breaker list, a need to have list, a nice to have list. Be prepared. You need to budget minimum 1 hour in the morning to video chat after 4 or 5 days, I would assume, and then at least 1 hour in the evening. Now, once you're online, be proactive. How to write your first email, how to get your profile in shape, what to put in your profile. Don't use humor. It doesn't have a good return on investment. Make sure you read the profile. Make sure you mention something about her profile. Use her name. Tell her you're interested. It doesn't have to be a long message, but it needs to be personalized. Initiate 100 emails. Don't just respond to people who see you online. You'll have a greater opportunity of having a scammer contact you. Be wary of these super looking eyebrow women that some of them don't even look Asian. It's crazy. Now, secondly, you're going to be approached by the people that this is their business. They're poor. They don't have opportunities for employment, and shaking some money out of your money tree is their job opportunity. So be careful of them. Be very, very careful. They're going to be enthusiastic, but they'll be juggling 5 other men at the same time. Now, what you want to do is you want to use your tools. If you think you want to go to a certain town, put it in the filter. Search for within 50 miles. If you want a college education, if you want a woman without children, see if you can use a search tool to identify these women. But be flexible and be patient. 50% of the women are real. 50% of the opportunities are real, and you could get lucky like I did the 3rd time, but you could also strike out, and striking out is kind of normal when there's only 50% true opportunity. Now look, if it's your first experience online in Asia, beware, they use filters, and normally there'll be 3, 4, 5 photos, and my experience, 4 of the photos are going to be really nice. The complexion in particular is going to look really nice, but the 5th picture, for some reason, there's always one picture, it seems, that gets slipped in, and they don't have the same complexion. They don't quite look the same. Go ahead and comment below. You may have had a different experience. My experience is that's what the woman actually looks like. So be wary of filters. Be wary of falling in love with 1 of 5 pictures, because it's really the 1 of 5 worst pictures that you're probably going to meet. Now, be patient. If you send out 100 emails in the first week, expect to get 400 back. This is a total role reversal. You're the desirable. You're it. You're the most interesting man. Gee, you're 65 years old and a 25-year-old is drop dead competing with other women to meet you. She's going to try and spend so many hours of the day talking to you that you don't have time to talk to other Asian girls. She's going to try and spend 4 hours a day. What are you doing? Why are you doing it? And she's going to try and shut down the other dating opportunities. Try not to zero in on any one prospect too fast. The women are going to show a lot of interest initially. Just meeting a real man, you know, a man who doesn't show up with his pants off on the first video chat.
Like when they request for a woman to video call them, you will be surprised because when the video will be opened, you will just see them naked. You will see them playing.
Someone legit who's not a scammer, they're looking for scammers too. They're faced with all sorts of challenges, men who just are trying to get them to take their clothes off on camera. So as soon as you connect, you have a video chat, you prove to them that you're real, you're going to have a high level of interest on that first conversation. Do they remain motivated? Do they ask questions during the video chats? On the second and third day, quite often, your interest will wane, but their interest will wane too. And what will happen is that short list might have had 3 or 4 prospects. You've started to chat to 3 or 4, but now like 2 or 3 of them are not that energetic. And now that's your signal that they have other men that they're talking to, and they're not going to be investing in you to make you their number one. So you need to keep looking and keep adding to your funnel so you can have 2, 3, or 4 high prospects that you've already interviewed preliminary, and they remain motivated. And, you know, be careful what you tell them about when you're arriving and where you're arriving. If they find out.
And so what does the Filipina say when she hears her man's coming to the Philippines? I'll meet you at
the airport.
Yeah.
That you went to Manila, and then you went to Cebu, and then you went to Bohol, and now you're in Davao, and they're number 4, and they're the 4th girl that you want to sleep with, the 4th girl that you want to get serious with. They're going to drop. If they're a decent girl, they're not going to participate. They will not want to be 4th in the rotation. And if they're number 1 and you want to leave at the end of 7 days, even though you have 3 weeks more vacation, they're not going to play that game either. They're going to tell you to cancel those trips and spend the rest of your time in Manila with them. Now, if you're a passport bro, it's plenty easy because you're going to mislead them and you're going to tell them that you're looking for something you're not really looking for. And you're just going to set everything up and you're going to mislead them. And that's the way that works. So it wasn't who I was, but if that's who you are, that's how you do it. The Explorer, he's got a route. He's going to be there those weeks, and she'll put up with that. It's all booked. It's all planned. She doesn't have a passport. She can't go with you, and off you go. And you can circle back, possibly, and she'll put up with that. If you meet someone special, she's going to want to see you off the dating app after you guys get serious. Try not to be forced off the dating app before you need to, and try to collect Facebook Messenger contact information and WhatsApp information. You want to start setting up visits with these women. Passport Pro visits, romantic lover visits, Explorer visits. You're coming up on 60 days. You need to finalize your international travel and get your local itinerary set. Now, it's just your local itinerary is pretty much a draft. If you're the Explorer, you want to go ahead and nail down the entire itinerary. You might leave some of the excursions for last minute. A passport bro can lock down his itinerary and get good airfare and cheap hotels at this point. He will not be spending his money on excursions, so just a few major cities with lots of nightlife will do the trick. The romantic, he is as much the hunted as the hunter. Avoiding professional grifters, he must have patience and be dedicated to doing his due diligence as he follows his gut and his heart. The romantic is not sure where to travel and has to keep his options open. You're now 60 to 45 days and travel begins. If you've got the budget, you're retired, you've got the time, it's time to head to the airport. If you only can budget for 6 weeks of travel, then continue online, continue doing what we've discussed. So basically, 60 days if you can afford it and you have the time. 30 days is really the bare minimum, but a lot of people can only get 16, 18, 21 days off. If you have to come out here, see if this woman's real, then you're going to have a slightly modified plan. So I've created a budget for each profile based on a medium spend. But you can modify these budgets. The big variable is going to be what you spend on lodging.
Why bed is very important to you?
Well, you couldn't sleep at night because of the bar sounds, the karaoke from the bar. And we're talking Philippines Airbnb, so now you need to be extra careful.
You could spend $100 or $125 a night on fancy Airbnbs. You can get a halfway decent hotel in the Philippines for $50, $60. Thailand, even a little less. And you could hit the hostels and get a really lousy hotel for $30, $35 US. So I'm going to plan the medium where you're spending roughly $60 to $90 a night on hotel or Airbnb.
It's so nice to experience different places and different Airbnbs.
For my budget, and you can modify for a lower budget or a higher budget based primarily on the housing choice. Go ahead, send me a comment, like and subscribe, but send me a comment with your thoughts and experiences. Just a word about budget. There are two wildcards or variables which are very hard to take into account. First is alcohol. If you are a barfly, or if you want to spend your days out drinking and possibly buying drinks for dates and friends, you will have to add additional monies for this activity. The budget I outline assumes a couple of beers a day. Alcohol is cheap in Asia. However, you might need to add an additional $25 to $50 US a day for alcohol. Second is adult entertainment. Either buying gifts and clothing for girlfriends, taking them out to expensive dinners, and or paying the trade rate for working girls, bar girls, freelancers, and massages. That is $30 US, $50 US, or $100 US, depending on massage parlor, freelance short time, or freelance long time, or more if you're at a fancy bar in Bangkok or something similar. So please budget accordingly. A full 60-day trip for the Explorer should involve 1 week in Japan, 3 nights in Tokyo, 4 nights in Kyoto, Osaka, 4 days in Seoul, South Korea, 1 week Vietnam, split between Hanoi and Da Nang, 2 weeks in Thailand, Phuket, Chiang Mai, Bangkok, and Pattaya, Sin City, 3 weeks in the Philippines. Now, for budget, for this Explorer visit, an average budget for this is $200 US per day plus airfare. So 60 days, you're talking $12,000. And airfare for this trip, roughly $3,000. Assuming your international airfare comes in at about $1,200, you're gonna have $50 to $100 flights between cities in Asia, $200 flights between countries. So I think you can do it for $3,000. The local transportation is really, really cheap. And $200 a day is gonna give you an accommodation of roughly $80 to $100. You've got money for dating, excursions. This budget includes a fair amount for excursions because you're the Explorer. So you're going to be taking day trips and other travels. And this is a very healthy budget. You could obviously do it for less. If you were a backpacker, you could probably do it for $25 accommodation, $15 to $20 for food and transportation per day. No alcohol, no other activities really budgeted for. If you go for 45 days, that's $9,000 plus airfare is now a $12,000 budget. If you go for 30 days, it's a $6,000 trip. If you're the lover, the romantic, you are not really focused on seeing the country. You would like to know where to retire. You're interested in learning whether you want to live at the beach, you want to live in the mountains. Do you prefer Thailand because of the food, because of you prefer the women there, you prefer the Zen culture, even though they have a difficult language, you prefer it. You prefer the expat life there possibly. If you prefer Philippines because the sweetness and the loving and the English of the Filipina, is what drives you, like it did me, well, where are you going to live on this exploratory visit sure would be nice to know. The Filipina that you meet, you know, how far do you want to move her away from family? Does she have children? Where are they going to go to school? These are all considerations. If possible, you'd like to do some research while you're in country. So that's going to affect your budget. You don't have to spend a lot of money on dating. You know, you're going to go out to eat, you know, maybe once a day at a restaurant. If you're at an Airbnb, you can buy some food. You know, you can budget if you know, $15 a day if you're not dating, but if you're dating, you're going to budget $25 or $30 a day. Plus, you're going to spend about $70 a night on lodging. That's $100 a day in country. Now you're going to be moving around. There's taxis and there's some excursions, some activities. You might want to go to waterfalls. They're not too expensive. I think you could budget realistically $120 $25 a day for every day you're in the country, plus international airfare and domestic airfare. Now, you're going to be moving around quite a bit in the country, possibly. You might have to go out to the provinces. So assuming you're here for 45 days, I would budget $125 per day, hotel, food, not much entertainment. I'd get an Airbnb so you could eat some of your meals at home. I haven't budgeted any alcohol. If it's alcohol, if you're a drinker, it's $150 a day. $150 a day for 45 days is $67.50, plus you had an international flight and some domestic flights. We're going to call that another $2,000. You're at $87.50, rounded up, you're at $9,000 for a 45-day. If you budget $100 a night for a nice Airbnb, just adjust accordingly. If you're not a drinker, adjust accordingly. But the types of budget items you're going to need, you don't really want to be buying a lot of gifts. These girls are very appreciative of your time, and girls who want gifts, and you can make a big mistake in spoiling them, but they'll enjoy a restaurant meal, they'll enjoy going to the mall, they'll enjoy a coffee shop, they'll enjoy being taken on a waterfall excursion, they'll enjoy getting on an airplane and going to the beach and or taking the ferry over to Bohol and going to Alana Beach in Panglao. They'll, if possible, what a great time. Have them travel with you as you see the Philippines. So I've prepared a itinerary for the Philippines. My recommendation is for a 30 to 45 day trip is you meet your girl in Makati if she's based there. If not, you meet her in her home province. But what I would do is I would head certainly to El Nido.
El Nido captivates with its untouched beauty and tranquil surroundings. For visitors who appreciate nature's wonders, this is a dream destination. It's ideal for those seeking intimate experiences, secluded beaches, and a slower pace of life.
But first I would stop in Coron at the beach for 3 nights. I would take the ferry, 5 hours, 5.5 hours to El Nido, 3 nights in El Nido. From El Nido, I'm going to take a slightly more expensive direct flight by prop plane to Boracay. I kind of like Boracay. It reminded me of some of the world's best beaches that I've enjoyed in the past. Very walkable. You know, I really enjoy a walk along the beach, some good exercise. 4 nights in Boracay. Get yourself an Airbnb on the beach. It should run about $75. Chrissy and I had a really nice one. Now I'm gonna head to Dumaguete. I personally don't care for Cebu City, so I would just take a connection from Boracay, fly to Dumaguete, spend 3 or 4 nights in Dumaguete as a beach boardwalk. When you're ready to leave Dumaguete, just jump on the Fast Cat, the catamaran. It's gonna run you to Bohol. Spend 2 or 3 nights at Alana Beach. Jump on the Asia overnight ferry, a big ferry boat for $30 per person. You can get a 4-person stateroom with a bed. You'll arrive the next morning at 7 a.m. 1 day to Iligan for the City of Waterfalls, 1 day to explore Cagayan de Oro as a possible place to live and to do whitewater rafting. You might need a 3rd night if you're serious about Mindanao. If you've got time, you can head to Davao, see Samal Island, and investigate. And from Davao, probably time to head back to Manila and fly back. Now, if you have met a girl like I did, that's the itinerary that I recommend. But if you were deceived and lied to, and after 30 or 45 days online, you're coming to the Philippines and you don't have a girl, well, now you're going to want a totally different itinerary. That itinerary, you're going to go to Cebu City maybe, and you're going to hang out at the coffee shops. You're going to date online. Cebu City has an enormous number of potential girlfriends there. You might get a place in BGC and stay in Manila for a week because there's a lot of women in Manila. You want to go where your potential prospect is. Or date where you want to live. If you think you know where you want to live, then go ahead and date there so your girl's not too far from her family. If you struck out and there's no one waiting for you, you have no #1 prospect in the Philippines and you're the romantic, go to Thailand for a week or 2 there. Understand what Thai women are like. Understand the countries. Go investigate Thailand versus the Philippines. Then come to the Philippines. If you're a passport bro, well, that's a whole different trip. You should head to Thailand first. In fact, if you're a passport bro, you might just want to stay in Thailand the whole time. A lot of passport bros, what they're really looking for is they're looking for a girlfriend that speaks English. They're looking for a girlfriend experience, a Philippine girl that loves you and can speak your language and who will travel with you and go out and party with you at night is maybe more what you're looking for. But I would go to Thailand first, spend 10 days or 2 weeks there, come to the Philippines. So if you're a passport bro, you're going to head to Angeles City. In the Philippines, you're going to meet a different kind of woman. You're going to meet maybe a working girl. Your chance of meeting an open-minded woman who's willing to spend 3 nights with you in a resort and never see you again, you're more likely to find them there. And a passport bro has to budget for a nicer hotel room possibly because he's going to be entertaining. He has to budget for alcohol. He has to budget possibly for a resort. He has to budget for the nightlife. And a passport bro, it's a minimum $150 a day budget. The airfare, again, it's somewhere, if you're only coming to the Philippines round trip, you move once or twice within the country, you could do it for $1,500 for airfare. If you're going to move around multiple locations in the Philippines, $2,000. If you're going to go to Thailand and move around between multiple cities in Thailand and multiple cities, maybe even catch Vietnam, $3,000 is a really good airfare budget that'll get it done. But then $150 a night times the number of nights you're in the country. Again, passport bro is going to be taking women to a resort. He's going to be buying them more dinners. In a perfect world, a passport bro, he doesn't want to pay the trade rate. He wants to meet a local girl who's going to go with him on vacation, be his vacation girlfriend, speak the language. If he starts paying trade rates for women, that's a whole nother budget cost. And, you know, you can do the math. Accommodations in Vietnam, Thailand, Philippines are somewhat similar. Philippines is a little bit more expensive, but hotels in these countries, you can find an acceptable hotel for $40 a night. Transportation between cities, and if you book in advance, $50, including your luggage, is going to get you from point A to point B. Now, restaurants, the rule of thumb, it's half of an average restaurant in a smaller town in your home country to go out to eat. If you live in England, London, Paris, New York City, Los Angeles, it's 1/3. You're going to pay just $1 or $2 for a decent beer. And then for taxis, they're very, very inexpensive. Just make sure they turn on the meter. They have Grab in many cities here in Asia. You don't want to spend a lot of money on gifts. Now, one expense you might have to take into account, you might decide you want to meet the girl's parents. You might have to travel to the province, or you might have to have them come to see you. In my case, I brought 16 people up by van. Then there's the lechon you need to buy. There's the dinner you need to prepare. There's the gifts for the family. So that could be expensive, and you might have to budget an additional $1,000 for that meet the family aspect of the visit. Once you're here, know about the etiquette. There's certain etiquette you want to keep in mind. Don't ever touch anybody or even a child on top of the head. People point with their lip. The 90-day plan. Go ahead and like and subscribe and watch one of our other videos too, because all of these subjects are covered. I hope you enjoyed it. Put it to use. I wish you luck. I wish you the success I've had with my Chrissy. Good luck, guys.